Hi everyone, welcome to today's book club video where we're going to be talking about Nightbane. Now you're probably thinking, Jada, where's the Lightlark video? Why isn't that here? Well, I'm kind of going to be talking about that as well as Nightbane at the same time. So, because I'm currently just essentially doing whatever books I'm in the middle of reading or have just finished, and we're going to just talk about them. So that's why there isn't a Lightlark video, but I can kind of just talk about it in conjunction with this one. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, what the hell is a Lightlark, what the hell is a Nightbane, let me tell you all about it. So Lightlark was a book that got extremely popular on Book Talk and your Instagram and pretty much any social media platform that talked about books. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, even Facebook, it just went insanely popular because it follows this character named Isla Crown, who is kind of put into your fighting simulator. It's almost like if the nature aspect of Avatar meets Hunger Games meets a trio romance sort of ordeal meets a level of frustration. I'll explain why the frustration in a minute. So the first book kind of just talks about the story of Isla Crown and Isla Crown and how she is shunted into doing this kind of battle royale sort of thing because they need one person to survive and the rest will need to be killed so that they can continue on because there's this giant curse over everything. La-di-da-di-da. And so they think, one person has to die to survive. But obviously, that is not the case because Isla figures out that maybe we should look at things a little bit differently than how we've been doing it the past 500 plus years. And so it follows along that story. Stuff gets revealed because she thought she didn't have powers, but she kind of does, and people reveal it to her, but maybe they're not the greatest people. And then it turns out, as most of us do, we love a bad boy. So we have a morally grey boy come into play who they want us to fear, but is low-key hot as fuck. So hard to fear somebody that you love. And he's trying to prove to her how much he loves her, even though she doesn't really trust him, but kind of does. And then later falls in love with the Sun King, I think is his title, or King of the Sun People, essentially. And so then we're caught up to book 2, which at the back says, "You were once the bane of my existence, and now you are the center of it." Oh, I love. So pretty much, she has secured the love of 2 powerful rulers and broken the curse that plagued the 6 realms for centuries, but few know the true origins of her power. Now, in the wake of a crushing betrayal, Isla finds herself struggling to win respect as the newly crowned leader of not 1, but 2 separate realms. Find out why. Worse, her fellow rulers haven't exactly agreed to her victory. And there are others in Isla's midst who don't believe her ascent to power was earned. As certain death races towards Lightlark, and secrets from the past begin to unravel, Isla must weigh her responsibilities to her people against the whims of the most dangerous traitor of all, her heart. So basically, book 2 kind of obviously continues on because it's the second book, and it follows the war that kind of ensues with the Nightbane people. So each of the books is a different continent or country, different realm of people. So Nightbane is your night people, obviously. And they kind of just talk about this battle that ensues. Some people pick sides, some people don't. And then they're trying to race towards, hopefully, a victory of some description. I quite liked these books. My biggest caveat, and I know this is probably a me thing, also that's the map so we know, I really disliked the fact that she falls in love with the Sun King. I think it makes no sense. I think like, I get why it's done. Like, I get it. As a writer, I understand. But to me, it very much just felt like, oh, we need more drama or reason for her to do something. Let's let her fall in love with some millennium old dude who in all the art just happens to look really young and hot, which makes no sense. When clearly she's in love with, like, oh my god, I'm forgetting his name, the Nightbane king. It's like, she's clearly in love with him. Why are we making her fall in love with, like, the other dude? And it's just like, to me, that felt a little bit messy, to be honest. And in this book in particular, the one thing I really did not like is every other chapter is a fucking flashback. We get it. She's going through trauma and she's going through PTSD and she's memories, but it felt like every single chapter I got really excited and then it got to the next point and then it was like, flashback. Here's a random flashback that kind of makes sense as to why she does the thing. I would have rather continued to have read the story and then have a flashback here and there. Every other chapter felt like you were giving us a flashback to then confirm why you thought this thing. And that drove me insane. I am perfectly fine with switching point of views. I'm perfectly fine with all of those things. But when it's a flashback every other page, I would have rather you have just written an entire novella or a mini book to be like, here are her memories, blah, 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 blah. Now read Nightbane, and you understand why he did the thing. Because then I felt like I would have had a coherent story. Whereas this felt so shattered. And it was probably done in that way because her mind is shattered, and so we're trying to feel shattered and get us all into the swing of things. And the next book, which I haven't even read yet, probably makes it feel like it all comes together. This made me feel so dissatisfied while reading this book. It made me feel really meh. I loved the first book. This started off strong. And then it just felt like shit. Like, I'm sitting here being like, I couldn't tell you what the story was because half of it was a memory and the other half was kind of there. I really wish they would have just done, okay, take out all the memory bullshit. Here's a memory book. I don't know, call it her diary or whatever the fuck. We have that. Plus it gives you more sales. Book people will buy anything. Have that as its own novella. Make it a touch cheaper than these, like a touch. And then we read that first, and then we read this. It would have coherently made sense. You set that book to be like, you know, her flashbacks or her memories or, you know, her diary or whatever you want. Set that up as, hey, this is this. It swings into this. We could have had a coherent story because what this is, how many pages? This book is, where are the pages? This book is like 400 pages, right? I kid you not, I could probably do a count later, but I don't want to. About 200 plus of these pages, I'm going to say about 200 of these pages is probably memories alone. That is half of this book. I don't know, is this 200 pages? Oh, that was close. So I'm going to show you a visual example of what I mean. This much is memories. There's a little bit extra on this side because of the acknowledgements and shit, but this alone could have been its own book of memories. I would have been more than happy to read this as a memories, this as a proper book, or even this as a separate book. It just felt like it was missing so much. And so every time something would happen, I was feeling like I was left on all these cliffhangers that didn't need to be cliffhangers. Like, you know, all of these things occur. She finds out she's the wife and all of this shit. But you don't get to it until the end, but you can tell at like page 10. And it's like every other page though was a damn memory. It's like I would have preferred that. All in all, this book is written quite nicely. It pains me how good this book could have been if it didn't have so many memory flashbacks. If you're wanting to do that in this book, just have like 4. Half of these didn't feel like it was needed. Half of these were like, let's just go back because she did this because she stubbed her toe. It's like, okay, we don't care. We want to know what's going on in the current story. That's my frustration with this book. I don't know if I'm going to read the next one, to be honest. I know it's already out. It's been out for a while. It's the Shade something. What's it called? Sky Shade. I don't know. And I'm a type of person who likes to collect all the books and try and power through them, even if they're garbage. I wouldn't say this is garbage. I just think there was too many ideas floating about trying to be crammed into one book. And I would have wished they just continued with that storyline. Because book 1 was phenomenal. This book was good. I feel like it could have been great if we just scaled down on the amount of memories. So, would I recommend reading this? I definitely recommend reading Lightlark. I think that's a phenomenal book. If you don't mind flashbacks, read this book. If you just want to know what happens from Lightlark, it might be hard to read through, but give it a try. I think this is one of those books where I would definitely rate it like a 3 out of 5. I would say definitely give it a try. It's not going to be for everybody. I am a person who reads a lot, and this I struggled with. And I'm not sure why. I will give an appreciation for this book because it has all these details throughout the book, at the top and bottom, which I really appreciate because that I quite loved. Not a lot of books do that. So I do appreciate that, but it just, and obviously for having a map, which is cool, I just really wish there would have been something else. And I think there's a little cheat at the back. There's a QR code where you can receive exclusive bonus chapters from Grimm and Oro's perspective, which is the Night King and the Sun King. Just chuck them in the book. Or, better yet, which I think she did anyway, more recently. I would have, because she did the point of view, flip over point of view, so I think that was just more of a sneak peek, but don't like that as much, but if it helps with sale tactics, then it helps, so I get it. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. Tell me what you think of Lightbane/Nightbane in the comments below. Should I give the next one a try? Let me know if it's actually worth it or not. And I will see you all in the next book video. Love ya. Bye.